It's such a pleasure to have Team TechTO here in the StartWell studio, broadcast studio today on King Street West. I thought we'd take a little bit of time to actually chat about what TechTO is, what its relevance is to the world, and specifically, go around the table and just kind of see, introduce you guys to the StartWell audience, of course, and then also get a sense of kind of like what we're trying to do here today, inaugural launch day of the TechTO Insiders co-working day at StartWell. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm so excited about it.
Laura's pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
So why don't we just start with Laura? Laura, who are you? And what's your name?
Who are you?
It's pronounced Laura. No, I'm just kidding. It's Laura. I've been volunteering with TechTO for a really long time, and so I'm very familiar with the community and very excited to be more involved with the community now that I'm on the core team. I was hired in to manage our Insiders program, and so that's, a paid membership that we offer to people who want to be even more involved in the community, get extra special access to events like this first co-working day that we're having. Sometimes a discounted ticket to some of our larger events, and we're working on producing a lot of special content for the Insiders community as well. But in the meantime, until we hire a couple positions, I'll also be taking care of all of our in real life events that we have coming up this year. So I'm really excited because I've loved the events for 4 or 5 years now.
All right, let's do some introductions for the other people on the table.
I don't know how to follow that.
Okay, so then you're next.
You want me to go next? Okay, I am Alexandra Reilly. I'm the growth marketing manager at TechTO. I am very passionate about what we're doing for the Canadian tech ecosystem. I really do believe whether it's something as large as, you're trying to start a business or you're starting to scale, or you're trying to raise, or even just you're new to Canada and you're looking at opportunities, or you're trying to pivot into tech. I love that there is something for everyone. And TechTO is really providing a safe space for people to come and learn in general. So as part of my role, I'm managing our newsletter. And as Laura alluded to, helping her with a few content and marketing initiatives for our Insiders program. And I'm so happy to be a part of the team and to be at StartWell today and getting to meet some of our insiders. I think it's so exciting.
Beat that, co-founder.
Yeah, there you go.
I was trying to make Jason cry.
I'm so proud of you guys. Seriously. This
from
is so
from
cool.
the new school to the old school.
Right.
Drop some knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all about,
JG.
I think. This is Jason Goldlist. I started TechTO with Alex Norman in 2013. And we had this vision that Canada could be a dominant force in the global tech ecosystem. And we were just lucky that it's come to pass, I think, getting up on 10 years later. And the reason it's come to pass is because folks like Laura and Alex Reilly have found our community and started contributing to it and building the community, not in the image of what we thought was right 9 or 10 years ago, but in what it actually needs today and what it needs tomorrow.
It's changed a lot.
It really has. And it's changing all the time. Mic drop.
There you go. He still has a purpose, and that's to lift you guys up.
Yeah. And the hoverboard, he still has that. It's just it's under the table.
Let's jump into that though real quick. I think this is really interesting. Not the hoverboard, but the 10 years. The fact that like TechTO's been around for a while, the community's grown, capital C, national. It's not just about Toronto, but your shirt says Tech Toronto, so we'll focus on the city.
We do need new shirts though. Thanks for the reminder.
I do like the rainbow. We can keep that, but yeah, I think we need. I also want a onesie.
It's on the list.
TechTO onesie on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the kind of new energy that we need.
Right.
Did you know we needed onesies?
We're keeping you current. We're
Thank
keeping
you.
you current.
Ooh, maybe for the lifetime insiders, instead of jerseys, we get them onesies with their number on it. There we go.
But let's talk about this idea of insiders, right? So what's the legacy that kind of precluded or led up to founding the insiders as a thing? And, how does the tech ecosystem look to TechTO in Toronto, leading up to this kind of like the program that's specifically suited to who?
Well, I mean, I can talk to my interpretation of when it, came to be. Because I remember when the Insiders began, because I was volunteering, and I was like, oh, this is new. This is a new thing that we haven't had before. And at the time, just thought it was like, okay, there's going to be special events for insiders. There's going to be special talks or, discounts on the tickets. Like that was kind of what I understood it to be at the time. And as a volunteer, they just kind of said, if anyone has any questions about this, just send them to talk to this person over by this banner.
Right.
But at this point, and I think especially kind of coming out of the last couple of years and now understanding some of the lessons that have been shared in the TechTO community and the ecosystem over the years, I think that everyone who has wanted to engage with the TechTO community feels a lot more empowered to start something new or learn about how to start something new. And, there's a lot of amazing mentorship and wisdom that's been passed through our events over the years. And
yeah,
I don't know, I want the insiders community to feel like an empowering place to try new things and to make new connections and to, understand that this is a network that's here to help accomplish goals.
Yeah. And one of the things we say is always a community that wins together. And I feel like that is, to me, what the Insiders program really
and celebrates.
Celebrating the wins. And even, things don't work out. It's a place that you can turn to get, advice from people that are like, I've been there a million times before. This is like, welcome to being like an entrepreneur or professional.
Oh, it felt like home for me for a long time. Like it was a place that I had to go.
Yeah.
To that end, even through the pandemic, being in the Insiders Slack chat in the last little while, seeing, talking about, like Alex was mentioning, these kind of like, even when things don't work out for an entrepreneurial team, it's nice to see that the Insiders community is there to like pick up on even employees, offer people. I think we saw that a couple times.
Yeah, it's a safe space. Truly.
It is. Yeah. I've been thinking about starting an Oopsies channel or something along those lines where you can kind of like talk about the little missteps or the lessons that you learn from the mistakes. And because it's that's just it. And that's the attitude that I'm trying to bring into this position that hasn't existed before, which is that everything that we're doing right now is the first time we're trying it. And so it's not going to be the same every time. I want to learn something different every time we do it. I want to receive different perspectives on the experience every time we do it. And I want to constantly be morphing it into something that's a really unique experience.
Yeah.
So, Laura, what do you think is important for the people that you're trying to support?
I think that at this moment, I just want everyone who's in the Insiders community to feel like it's a place to connect. And I think that there's a lacking sensation and emotion when it comes to being able to feel confident making new connections, specifically new connections. We're coming away from a rough social time, so to speak. And I remember
understatement.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, I remember even in the before times, I had when I was volunteering, I had someone who had never been to a networking event before come up to me. She was like, I think in her 4th year in university or something. And she's like, how do I talk to someone? How do I meet someone? How do I go up to someone and introduce myself? And it's just, it's almost a leading by example kind of thing, because through interacting with TechTO at so many events and interacting with the community, I have a lot of confidence when it comes to just walking up to a complete stranger and shaking their hand and creating a conversation and trying to build that connection. But right now, I just want the Insiders community because, in a sense, they haven't been getting enough of the membership in the last couple of years, in my opinion. Yeah. And I just want them to feel really empowered to connect with each other, to connect with us, and to understand that everything that we're working on right now is to serve what it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and I think this is a really important time for us at TechTO. I think there's, as you said, a lot of ground to cover and a lot of slack that has to be picked up, that literally a lot of slack that has to be picked up. And I think the Insiders program is a great jumping off point for us to really leverage what it is that our community wants to do and how they want to connect and meet people. So we need to hone that and listen to that. Yep.
Oh,
Make
for
it
sure.
comfortable.
Yep.
And I think playing that role of socializing entrepreneurship in a way is something that's really interesting, because the public sector doesn't necessarily afford that, and the private sector, I mean, people. This could turn for me into a long monologue about ecosystem development and the questions in Canada about our want for institutions to be there to support entrepreneurs, and my dissatisfaction with the lack of those institutions or their efficacy. So I don't want to go down that road, but I do want to say that it's amazing that TechTO celebrating soon 10 years of doing this.
We should have a birthday party.
Yeah, 100%. And leading up to that birthday party,
Completely.
the idea that you've got this kind of like group of people that you're trying to encourage to come together to help each other. I think there's also something underlying, which perhaps has always been there for you and Alex, Jason, is the intent to try and kind of see people form a network that can help the network. Like by networking, you can actually strengthen the ties between people that support the next generation of tech entrepreneurs in the country.
Yeah, that's right on. I think one of the things that Alex and I thought about when we started TechTO is how do we help build a community that wins together? So what does it mean to win together, right? Well, you can win together with your family. That's great. You can upgrade the house. You can buy a fancy car. You can win together with your team. That's also nice. You can go out for dinner together and you can celebrate. Maybe you win together with your company, maybe at IPOs and a whole bunch of people get Teslas in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is to expand what that means to win. How do we win as a community?
Yeah.
How do we win as a society? How do you win as a country?
How does everyone win? Yeah.
How does everyone win? And I think a lot of things that we saw as we were building this community is we looked in other tech communities and there was really a lot of individuals winning and not a lot of societies winning. And we wanted to say, no, we want to build a community where everyone is included and where when we win, we've shaped the culture so that we respect the different pillars of the community that help support us. The other folks in there, the social security nets that we had, and we wanted to give it back and support that next generation that you're talking about. And I think that Laura said it perfectly. The way to do that is not to tell people to do it.
Right.
It's also not to build a super cluster that tells people what to do with it. It's actually just to go out and do it.
Show them.
It's to show them and to model the behavior. And I really think if we break down what TechTO has done over 9 years, we are led by people who put money into the ecosystem. We are led by people that build entrepreneurial, fast-growing startups, and we do it in the way that we want others to do it. And we hope that they learn from it and they do it together with us, and they go and teach others and teach others and teach others.
I think just if I can speak to the scale of that too, and how our shirts say Tech Toronto right now, but our events are Tech Together, and that's really what it's all about. It's that
Canada-wide.
togetherness element of, regardless of geography. Obviously, we want to bolster the Canada ecosystem as much as possible, but it's really just about how do we support each other, how do we build trust, how do we build stronger connections and relationships. And I think that is what people come away from a lot of tech events and TechTO events just really celebrating and feeling thankful for.
Yeah.
Because I've met so many people through the events, and I've found so many jobs through the events too. It's been really, really amazing for door opening and horizon, extending almost.
Yeah. And I always love to hear the stories of the people that have the folks that have just moved to Canada and have found TechTO and just found, even like we were saying, a safe space and a community of people where they can lean on others for their perspective and guidance. And I love that we're doing that for not just Toronto, for everyone. So, yeah.
Quick note, if I can hear from you guys on what the experience as an organization was in the last couple of years. I know, Jason, that you have a personal note about this to do with the business that you founded, but how has community building felt in the last couple of years when it's not been in real life and the whole organization had to shift into digital?
It was a whole new muscle that we built. And you know what? It was fun. Like, so when first time you go to the gym, you make real gains, if you haven't been there before. You blast off and you learn all sorts of new things. And I think that's what we did as a community. We said, okay, let's all go to the gym together. And what's this bicep? Let's try a curl, right? And then suddenly the bicep grows. And you go, oh my God, we're doing well here. And I think that's what happened as we moved that community online.
Yeah.
We tried new things.
Yeah.
We tried to get together in new ways. We tried to meet people in new ways. We tried to help each other in new ways. And you know what? It happened really quickly. We grew that muscle. Now I think what we see is that the virtual aspect of how you build a community, it's never going away. We want to bring back that in real life component. And what an amazing opportunity to use the strengths of both. Hey, in real life, you build really deep bonds with people. You look them in the eye. You really feel a kindred spirit. We've been doing this for I want to say generations, millennia.
Yeah,
right?
since the beginning of mankind.
For sure.
Humankind, I should say.
But
People.
virtually,
Peoplekind.
people kind.
Genderless,
People
flesh, animal kind.
But
people,
virtually,
things.
something we haven't had for millennia since the beginning of animal kind is the ability to meet folks that are hundreds, if not thousands of kilometers away and give people who are in rural British Columbia or northern Canada the opportunity to have the same access to network that we have in downtown Toronto. That didn't exist. It was impossible for them to fly in for 6 to 9 p.m. on a Monday night. But for them to log in with an internet connection, thank you,
In
Starlink.
pajama pants at that.
Sure. And meet the founders that are even more well-connected and can help bring that network to them. I think that's incredible. And so we can't stop doing that either.
Right. Yeah, it's opened a whole new world of opportunity that's kind of been sitting there. You know, like we're all tech entrepreneurs to some facet, or at least the community is made up of primarily tech entrepreneurs innovating on these communication problems for the most part. And, you know, it's nice that, you know, an output of this is to kind of embrace that, not hybrid for the sake of these people can't be in the room, but also those people should have input into this, you know, experience that everyone else is sharing. And that's interesting.
Yeah, the way that we see hybrid at TechTO is I'm not trying to make every event that we do both virtual and in person.
Right.
Because then sometimes you get the worst of both.
Oh, yeah.
What we want to do is create sets of programming that engage people in real life and programming that engages people virtually. And we'll lean into the best part of each, right? We're not going to try to force people to mix and mingle with appetizers and drinks at their homes by themselves. That would be crazy.
It's terrible.
It is weird to log off of those events.
Right?
I've produced a few of those, yeah. It's weird.
But likewise, if we're coming together in person, does it make sense for us to all sit in long rows and listen to a keynote speaker for an hour and a half? No. So I think what you'll see TechTO do as we continue to build community in Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, Waterloo, and surprise some more places in Canada now that we have audience, is engage people in real life in a real social way to build the strength of connections in that way. And then virtually continue to deliver really cool opportunities to get access to knowledge that might not fly into Vancouver for a 30-minute talk, but might log in for a 30-minute talk and share it virtually and get people to meet each other that they wouldn't otherwise meet.
Yeah. And I think one example, obviously, that's brought us together today of this kind of like connectivity in real life that's not necessarily about like unidirectional information sharing or publishing, you know, this kind of like man on a stage thing, is this idea of co-working day. I think it's brilliant. Get people to like do their own thing together.
Yes.
And share the experience.
I want to know the beginning of the co-working idea. Like the beginning.
Have you seen We Crash? Sorry.
Hey,
No.
he didn't begin this.
I know.
Adam Newman.
Don't bring him up.
I didn't. I'm sorry, guys.
And
This
then I
is
want to know how it evolved into a TechTO Insiders co-working day. Where did that idea come from?
Well, I mean, I think that to kind of speak to the last main point that was being made, like we've watched the definition of together change. And we want there to be opportunities for everyone's comfortability, right? Like it's also about kind of recognizing that people are reintegrating in real life at their own pace and in different ways. And when it comes to co-working, some offices and some companies just aren't going back to hybrid. Some people want it, some people don't. Like I have a friend who just started at a new company and she has no interest in going into the office, but they're making her every couple of weeks.
Have not even kept their offices.
And that's just it. And so I think that I think co-working is just such an interesting way to also kind of like, it's not like you're at a networking event where it's like, okay, I'm here to shake hands and I'm going to have a very low social battery at the end of the night, but I'm here with my own priorities, with what it is that I'm working on, which is what we're trying to empower, you know, is everyone to work on it, what it is that they're working on and, you know, pick each other's brains, you know. I like the idea of just kind of saying ideas out loud and getting the odd response back just to see how it sounds out loud. Because I think that that's something that our work from home echo chambers, I don't know if this is just something that I experienced when we were working from home for a really long time, but I I was questioning the ideas that I had, and I was questioning how it was that they were going to be received, and I just didn't want to be in my own echo chamber anymore. And so the other thing is that a lot of insiders are representing companies where maybe they're the only person working there right now. They don't have a co-founder yet, or they don't have their core team yet. And so
or
for
they
those
just have
people,
a really great idea.
Exactly. They have a really great
They just wanna
idea.
share.
And there is just like, helping people start to learn what those next steps look like and learn from people who've made those next steps before as well. Mm-hmm. And it might be that that person is 2 steps ahead of them, or they've already exited a company and they're on the next one, and it's just a matter of everyone comes into this with a different perspective and a different set of values. And I think it's really important for everyone to understand how to evolve theirs based on what they can learn from just sharing space with people.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to also ease people back into those social interactions and learning how to work together again.
Just go take your meeting. Well, it's like fine.
As we were saying, it's a little bit at the element of work from home together. That's what has been created here. And it's nice that there is the option to, ease back into it without having to do the whole, corporate office or whatever the situation, 9 to 5 every single day sitting at a desk. It's just not what people want to be doing. So
yeah, that's definitely what we say all the time here now at StartWell. StartWell is a home for working together.
Mm-hmm. To go to the rest of your question, how we came up with this idea was kind of that feeling that I got the first time I was here. Your question. Sorry, Jason. Everything sounds the same in these headphones. I don't know where it's coming from. But no, I think when I was here with you doing the tour the first time I came down, and I just kind of saw all these spaces where I was like, this is exactly where our people need to be able to find home as well. I think that it's important for people to feel like they have a home base that's not 16 feet away from their bed. That
There's
takes them out of a certain mindset. Like it's weird, but I left my job last summer in tech and got a job at a golf course because I literally missed commuting. I just wanted to leave my house every day and listen to a podcast and
talk to a person.
Exactly. And that was an experience that I really craved. Mm-hmm. And so that's just it. I don't want to force anyone to do it at all. I want them to come and decide how it works for them and just kind of mingle and get comfortable with that in-person connection. Because I think it makes a lot of difference to how you think when you're surrounded by people thinking about different things. And whether or not it's happening directly, but as soon as you're in a different setting and you're surrounded by different people, it just happens.
Yeah, and people who think differently than you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, it was awesome taking a moment to share with you guys and discuss the history, a little bit of TechTO, where things are going, how it's been lately, and I'm excited to host more of these TechTO co-working days at StartWell for the Toronto community. And
Very excited. Very excited
always
on
welcome.
our side too.
You're always welcome for any reason.
Bring it in.
There you go team.
1, 2, 3. TechTO-StartWell co-working day.
We didn't
TechTO
rehearse
StartWell
that.
co-working
We did not rehearse that.
Echo.
Thank
No,
you.
we didn't. We should have planned. We should have planned what we were going to say, but we made
That's
it work.
okay. I think we should
Oh, you
all
mean
just
at the
slam
end?
these on the table.
Famous last words.